All right, this time we're talking about Deep Desktop. So it's on Steam, uh, and it'll use like 3D models, basically AI models, to get your desktop or videos into VR in 3D. So let's launch it. So it threw me into VR right now, and so I can control it with the pointer. In general, though, it wants you. So I can use the motion controls like to set it up now, but in general, I'm going to, like, once I get the video or my desktop displayed, the I'm going to use a keyboard and a mouse or a game controller. You're not going to be using your motion controls at that time. So your motion controls are really for interacting with this UI. And whatever content is being put into 3D, you're going to be using keyboard and mouse or a game controller that's hooked up to your system. Since I'm in virtual desktop, I'm just going to switch to the desktop now. I don't ever work with this in VR. I go to the desktop view, I change whatever settings I need, I get whatever, choose a video or I choose the desktop and I get whatever I want running. Then I minimize this and switch over, and we'll switch to that. This is not the easiest thing to understand what all is happening here. There is a quick start supposed to help. So NVIDIA, yes. I don't really know what happens if you have an AMD or Intel. So which model do you use? They have different models. The current, I know Depth Anything is one I've seen multiple times. It's version 2. I think version 3 is either out or at least in beta. And this app's beta has that version 3. But for now, today I'm just looking at the store version, which is still version 2. And when there's an update, I'll look again. And I've had this for a while. I don't use it that often. I've used it for videos. I have never really used it for gaming. But whenever there's been like a big movie that I wanted in 3D, I think like the Dune movies. I was like, all right, I'm gonna try to watch this in 3D. And so I've used this for a couple of those. And it's not bad. It's a little, every time I'm like, how the hell do I use this thing? It is confusing. And so you need to have a model installed, and I think we can look at that. But it's like, do you want to automatically start the capture? I'm like, no, I usually say like, get everything set up, and then I will uh, start it on my own. Do you want to keep the model installation? So this is like Depth Anything. If it gets an update, it'll automatically update it. And installed cache, I don't know what this cache is about. It's off. But we're not going to use the quick start for now. I'm going to go, let's choose a video file just to get the initial. So which model? I'm going to use Depth Anything. Keep up to date. Yes. Select a video file. I've already selected, I think, what a Big Buck Bunny. Do I want to keep it has to estimate the depth, and you can store that. You can cache that if you want to like run it one through to cache the depth and then come back and play it once it's already done. But for now, I'm just keeping it off so we can kind of see it real time. And since I've selected a video, I'm just going to hit continue. And I don't have it, so it's not going to start automatically. Or the video, I'm not sure about. The video may start. Let's see. Okay, no. Okay, yeah. So here's some options. So there's a help here, but on the left side, this is kind of like what you have to get set up with the model before you start. And then these are stuff that you can change on the fly while it's playing. So I can choose my CPU or my graphics card. Capture resolution, I think this goes up to 100. I think I've just got 90. I don't know what the default is. Screen, I'm going to do flat. Smooth edges, I'm going to say no maybe for performance. Depth resolution. So this is, I think, what resolution you're figuring out the depth at. And you can crank this up, but if I crank this up, I think it tanks my performance. And half precision, I mean, that seems like it'll make it faster than full precision, so let's say yes. But I don't know. I'm just making this stuff up. And then, so this stuff I'm just going to set and leave. And then if I want to change any of these, I have to stop it and start it again. For the stuff I can change on the fly is like field of view, depth, screen angle. So these, you can map controls. We'll look at that later. These controls are super weird. I've got, I think right now on my right controller, my right stick, it has move forward and back, and I think up and down. And so we'll look at those when the video is playing, and then the clicking the right stick is the reset. I mean, it does like a cool effect that you might want to see like one time. And then once you've seen it, I don't know what the practical use of these are. And so later on, I turn all of these off. Unlock head movements. I don't know what that is, but basically don't lock my head. So I'm saying yes, unlocked. And so let's start, and then the video will now start playing in VR. I need to click it twice for it to, so. Okay, didn't click me over, so let's switch to VR. So here's the video. I've still got the UI. I want the UI. Continue. Go away, UI. Let's see. So easy to use. Continue. Start. Is this gonna go away? Okay, there it goes. All right. I mean, I see depth. I also see like shimmering edges. And then now here's where I'm going to use this right stick. And if I push up, I think it moves forward. So the 3D elements are going to start popping out. So you can kind of see my screen like that. So it's that. Thanks to see how the screen is outside of the. It's broken outside of the screen because the rocks and the grass there are closer. And when the bunny moves forward, he's coming out of the screen. But I mean, it doesn't look great. And if I take it to the, it's cool, but if I take it to the extreme, like it's like this, right? That's not good. If I have it not set, it doesn't look great either. These flowers, see, I can pull them out because they're in front of me. Now, if I move it, I've got my right stick and my left stick mapped to the not forward and backward, but the up and down. So it kind of shifts everything up. So that's shifting, like the ground has moved up. I shift it down, it's moved down. It's like, I don't know what the intent of that is at all. And if I shift backwards, like it's just, right, I don't know. This is inverse my 3D. Yeah, let's get out of that. I'm gonna switch to desktop. I'll stop it. So these controls, I guess they're interesting, but I don't know what practical purpose they serve. Maybe for when people are debugging these models, but I do not know. But that's your quick intro. And now let's try to play a game. So for the Well, okay, there's these modes up here. So 3D, anaglyph, just forget it. That's the red and the blue. But like the SBS mode looks interesting, right? But it it put my desktop in, and if I switch to VR, now my VR is in side by side, and I don't I don't know what this. So I got to try to click this. So I get my mouse. Okay. I maybe if you're not going, I don't know. I do not know how I don't know how you would use these. And at least in the context of virtual desktop, I don't see how to use either of these. Now it does definitely does more that I don't understand how to use. Like there's sender and receiver. I think that is basically like the sender could do the depth cache processing, and the receiver might do the playback, and so you can again split the GPU load that way. That's my guess there, but I've never done that. Extensions, I don't know. I've never seen an extension. I'm assuming the developer is using this stuff to test his own stuff. I mean, he's doing updates. I'm very happy with the developer. There's just stuff I don't understand. Let's go into options. So star intensity, I think like the normal background is there are stars, but I don't need any of those. Use only one background color. So I've got this off, so I think just so we can look at stuff, but usually I have this set to just one. I'm not sure here. Let's see what else. I don't really change anything on here except for here's the key assignments. And so right stick up, this is the moving forward, moving up and down. This is those weird controls to shift stuff. And it's hard to set these in VR. So let me see. I say none. None. Okay, so we're going to keep the moving forward and the moving backwards. But mostly I'm just turning all this stuff off. And then on my left stick, I have mapped increasing the depth and decreasing the depth, which we'll look at later. But everything else, I basically just turn off for nothing because it's I don't know what the intent of some of these controls are, or I have not seen it. I have not been able to use them practically. But I generally just want to get stuff set up, start it, then set my motion controls down, and then I'm playing with a game controller or mouse and keyboard. I'm not using these to tweak the 3D. So then let's go to now local. So I'm gonna put my whole desktop into the VR. All right, so here's where you can see the different models. That was the drop down previously. So do you want to start the capture? No, I've got that set again. So I've installed 3. I've chosen like, well, depth anything 2 and distill any depth. I kind of picked these because they have a star next to them. Depth anything 2, distill any depth. They're fast, which I'm going to need for gaming. Quality is good, or medium, and then low VRAM, which I've got decent deep VRAM, so that's not as much of a concern. But fast is the main thing. If there was fast and high quality, I would choose that. But if there was fast and medium quality, now I tried Depth Pro, slow and high quality, and high VRAM, but this and I have it installed, but it's I can't keep up with it. At least I can't play. There's no way I could play a game with it. Now, if you're pre-processing a video or watching a video, would be fine, but especially if you're splitting it between 2 GPUs. But I'm not actually using this one, so I think it defaults to depth anything B2, so that's what we'll stick with, and we may try this one for a follow-up test. And so I've got these. That's fine. All right. Oh, yeah. I did this wrong. I need to choose which one I want. So I want depth anything too. Oh, and for these other ones, when you click setup, there's going to be a screen that comes up where it shows like maybe 15 or 20 steps where it's going out and downloading stuff. So it's downloading these models. I'm assuming from GitHub. So I gotta click this, so I'm in. So now it's loading that model, and now it gives me the options. So depending on which model you choose, some of these options might change. Backgrounds and filters. I'm not gonna, this is where I usually just choose one background and make it opaque, transparent, but we'll look at that later. And extensions, I've never seen anything here. I'm pretty sure that maybe later. So on my GPU, here I could choose an app name, but I want the whole desktop. For capture, I just keep it, I'm like, I don't know what this, but 90 seems decent. Let's do curve this time. Smooth edges, no depth. I'm just kind of whatever sounds fast for gaming. I think these are all the defaults. If you hit the R, it moves it back to the default. I wish these had defaults too, but that's fine. I can always just uninstall it and reinstall it. That may reset it. But this looks, yeah, unlock head movements. So I haven't done anything here. So when I click start, it's going to now start streaming my desktop, and then I can switch to VR. Actually, let me look at my backgrounds now. Why is nope? Use background. Okay, I think we're okay there. Let's go ahead and start it. Okay, so this background changed because right now I've got using ambient colors on. And so we'll see that once I start playing the game, I think. But let's get our standard Pinball FX2. That's what we're trying to get. We'll get it going. All right, so now I need to minimize. Right, oh, it's on the front. I think we're all good. So let's switch to VR. I need to center it better. So I see some 3D effect on the logo. I'm starting up my game controller though. I switched from the touch controllers. Now I did just click the right stick on the touch controller to try to get it reset. This menu is like a little wobbly. I'm guessing it's because of the background image that's moving. It's having trouble stabilizing from the model from image to image, is my guess. I do not know. Consider myself a layman. And now I can't remember. I don't think we've done the Venom table. Let's try it. Start new game. Alright, so Venom looks, I mean, on the edges, he's not great.
Aren't you bored of trying to kill me yet, Eddie? All you ever do is
so let's
fail
kick
at it.
into table. So table looks pretty stable. I'm using the controller. I need to switch to the X Arcade and see if that works. Alright, let's try to switch to right flipper. Hey, okay, X Arcade's working. Oh, I hit the tilt. Tilt's working. So now I'm on the X Arcade. I'm getting a rumble from the controller. Alright, let's change tables. I don't know what that super close-up is about. I mean, I definitely have serious 3D effect. It's a little wobbly. All right, let's let this drain. So I'm picking up the touch controllers. I'm gonna get back to the, I'm gonna leave the game running, get back to the overlay. So let's turn off ambient colors. So I'm just using green and blue 255, red 0. And if I switch to virtual desktop, I'm going to turn on my environment because it should be set to this color, 255, 255, 1%. So that'll make it, that should make it transparent. So let's switch to VR. So yeah, I'm seeing my wall through the UI at least. Switch back to the desktop. So what else? Let me look at my notes real quick. This one is complicated. All right, so we've done pretty good. We want to now, so this is one thing I don't understand too is like right now I've got, let's see if the help tells me anything. You find all the really, no, that's telling me the other one. So I've got these background settings, which I'm setting all the same values so that I can erase it. I would just normally use one color. I set them as all four so I could ultimately turn on the ambient. I think if it's one color, the ambient doesn't work. Ambient is when it takes the whatever's on your screen and it renders that around it. Like you've got one of those TVs with ambient lights. And so whatever's on the screen, it shows up around it. Is what that effect is doing, which is nice for, I've done for the movies. Now it's got this additional chroma key filter, which I don't understand either why it makes sense. At least for the within virtual desktop, just setting these as enough. I'm not sure what this is. If maybe it's like this chroma is for the background and the UI, and this chroma is for like within the content itself. So I have not used this yet. Let's stop this one. And now what am I, oh yeah, I'm always gonna do this. We need to try, it's pinball, so we need to try portrait. So you're down, change my display settings, portrait, keep. All right, so let's relaunch. Yeah, go and get pinball going. So bring up deep desktop. Let's try the different model. I'm going to X out of here. Distill any depth. I'm going to say use. So it's going to load that model. So yep, GPU. I'm just going to do my full desktop. 90. Let's not do curve this time. Let's do flat. What are these? Let's look at, we'll try one of those. Smooth edges, no. Encoder, I don't. Small, okay, base sounds like medium. Base sounds good. Half precision, that sounds faster. I'm leaving it. I can search these later to see what really makes it faster, but I don't know yet. The depth we can look at. I've got that mapped to my left controller. We can change the depth. Screen angle is what I usually set to my right controller. It would angle the screen up or down. Those are usually the only controls I mapped is depth to the left and angle to the right. And then everything else I turn off on the motion controls. Okay, let's launch this. Oh, button. And now I'm going to minimize this and we'll switch to VR. All right, it is displaying. So here is where I would like to increase the size, but I don't have it mapped. So let's try to, I think that's the setting we can change on the fly. So can I increase the field of view? Let's try something like that. See if it's bigger. Can I get my motion controls here? Oh, depth is changing. Oh, this is, okay, so here's where my, this is, I think it's forward is what's happening here. So you can see the 3D effects pulling forward. What is my left? My left is my depth. Yeah, I would like to have, okay, let's switch back to desktop. Let me try to crank this up, see what that looks like. Yeah, it's bigger. So field of view would be a good one to have mapped to your controllers. So you can change the screen size. That's a little big. So we're gonna pull it down a little bit. Hard to use those in VR. Okay, perfect. Oh, I forgot to get rid of it. Minimize. And we'll try this. Okay, so in portrait, the menu looks better already, even with the screen in the background. Let's get back to the table. I mean, it's not great, but it still looks better.
Hey,
Yeah, Venom's a little shiny around the edges. All right, table. I mean, this looks pretty solid here, though. Definitely 3D effects. I'm gonna try to do the motion controls. Let's try to see if we can. This is I'm doing the pull forward on the motion controls. Try to make the depth stand out. And that's not bad. It's not getting too wobbly. A little bit on that ramp. All right, let's try to play with the X Arcade.
almost. Now let's see what we got in the cobweb.
So I think it's liking that the table is effectively all in view at the time. I think the model's doing great when it's not as much is moving. First in landscape, I didn't have the entire table in display at the same time, or the angle was changing more often.
Don't move.
Not bad. Let's try to something else.
Now let's see what we got in the cobweb.
Alright, so leave that. Switch to desktop. Get back to deep desktop. I'm going to stop it. Oh no, I stopped it, started it. Stop again. I did it again. Oh my gosh. It's not getting my first click, and then I do another click, and then it's like, hey, let's go all the way. All right, what are we going to change now? Depth is, let's try to increase the depth. That seems silly. What else are we going to do? Oh, let's do this. We saw that immersive. And I think that's all I want to change right now. Start. Now I want you to start. You're not starting. Okay, started. All right, so now it's started. We can switch back to VR. Oh my gosh. That's the immersive. All right. All right, so you can see what the immersive is doing. So it's like I've got like in a cubed room. It's just taking that edge and it's just throwing it at me. It's horrible and wonderful at the same time. Okay, got my game controller. Resume. Oh my gosh. I'm definitely immersed. Let's get the table. See if we can see the depth effect. All right. Got it here. I wish I was on the other control. So now I've got my left touch controller. And I do have the depth mapped here as well. So I'm trying to crank up the depth to see if we can notice it. I am not noticing the depth changing here as I crank it up or down. It's very stable though. The immersive environment is horrible. So that's all the way down. All right, let's try it. Let's try getting into a different table view. Yeah, here's where it changes it. See what we caught in a cobweb. Oh, come on. Give me back. Let's get back in real quick. Hey, Spider-Man! I must have the depth turned down all the way. That looks sharp.
Aren't you bored of trying to kill me yet, Eddie? All you ever do is fail at it.
It ain't over till it's over.
All right. Deep desktop. It's a very interesting app. That's all.